Hello everyone, welcome to theCUBE here in Palo Alto, California. We're here for a preview of Ansiblefest 2022, this year in Chicago in person. And I'm here with Andrius Benokraitis, who's the Senior Manager for Ansible Technical Marketing at Red Hat. Andrius, great to see you, CUBE alumni. Thanks for coming on and giving us a preview of what to expect at Ansiblefest. Thanks.
No problem, thanks for having us. And thanks for everyone tuning in.
You know, one of the things that's exciting this year is one, it's back in person. From 2019 was the last in-person Ansiblefest. Always a great event for folks doing IT, cloud native configuration, management, and automation. I think, and last year in our virtual event, it was the three themes were automation, automation, automation. Kind of drove the point home. This year, it's more exciting than ever because if you look at the growth of cloud native, we're seeing a lot more traction in mainstream enterprises with Kubernetes and obviously containers continue to grow with open source, powering everything under the covers. So like this is like become such a whole nother inflection point this year. More than ever, there's a focus on not just automation, but where the dots are going to connect into the future. So I'd like to get your thoughts on what we're going to expect this year at Ansiblefest. What's the themes? What do you see coming down the pike? What can people expect?
People can really expect, and thanks very much, John. Really excited. So we're going to see a lot of what we've seen before, right? So a little differences from the previous on-site Ansiblefest is, I think we no longer have to say, what's Ansible? We typically have had to say, what is this Ansible thing? I don't know what this is. This is automation. I think we've gone beyond that. And this is great. Ansible itself is now the de facto, what we believe is the de facto kind of automation language. And Ansible Automation Platform is a de facto automation platform. So as you move into this year, we're going to be able to really hone in on really having those beginners starting off much, much more quickly, but also those that have know and love Ansible over the years to take that automation to the next level, to new areas, either new domains, going beyond the data center into the cloud, and then going beyond by all the partner certifications and integrations that we have. So it's a lot, it's just more of everything, I think. So it's more for everyone all the time. So it's no longer kind of a beginners for everything, but we go all the way to kind of crawl, walk, run for this one.
It always surprises me. Every year, I'm always surprised by how great open source is. I remember every year it's like, pinch me, this is amazing. If you're a developer right now, it's a good time to be coding because of open source growth is at an all-time high, continues to grow, more projects are emerging. DevOps, which really came out of the ethos of the kind of the early days of the cloud and scaling infrastructure was about infrastructure as code, which was the dream we all had in the late 2000s, if you remember, right? Now that's happened. DevOps is now in the CI/CD pipeline. Developers are shifting left. Cloud native, hybrid, actually now is a steady state, and that's pretty well documented. What's next beyond infrastructure as code? What's beyond the on-premise cloud integration from a tech standpoint? What are you guys seeing around infrastructure as code? What's next, and then what's beyond on-premise?
I think the big thing is scale, right? So we've always been able to kind of automate developers, as you said, DevOps, you can automate from your laptop. You can open up your laptop, download some open source Ansible, and automate your Windows, your Linux, your network, no problem. But how do you actually operationalize that in an enterprise way across large teams, right? A global environment, and then being able to actually secure that, right? Security is such a big piece of that now. So being able to actually apply automation securely in secure environments. So, and wrap all of that around cloud, right? So we've always been talking about, you mentioned it, on premises, going into the cloud, right? So being able to operationalize in the cloud, so being able to automate cloud targets, so being able to automate AWS, Azure, GCP targets, but also running your automation on the cloud, like say OpenShift. So being able to dynamically load balance, create execution on demand for Ansible in OpenShift. So it's kind of hard, and we hope that in Ansiblefest we'll be able to kind of demystify that from when you hear the word cloud and cloud native and hybrid cloud, it kind of goes in your head. We hope to kind of clear that up for folks at the fest.
Certainly, we're going to be talking about SuperCloud as well with theCUBE there. I want to get your thoughts real quick on the edge. Are we going to hear anything about the edge this year? Again, edge has become hugely important, but yet it's not clear to a lot of people what that looks like. Are we going to hear anything there?
Absolutely. Edge is huge. And to some people, I will say that when you say edge automation, it may not click to some folks, but if you were to say automating wireless access points in a branch office, you think, oh, okay, now I know what you're talking about, right? So a lot of people really may not have made the connection to what edge automation is because maybe that hasn't been defined. And as we start moving into edge automation, we can start talking about extending, right? We're already talking about extending the data center, especially for network automation. So network automation no longer is in the data center. You can now extend that out to the branch office, to campus, wireless, right? And you can also extend it out into other areas such as industrial applications, right? If you want to move a glue gun from one end of the warehouse to the other, that has to be automated. And we'll be able to do that by means of some of the enhancements we made for that.
What can customers and attendees who are going to be there either in person and after remote hybrid expect to hear about Ansible's automation platform this year? What's going to be some of the announcements? Can you tease a little bit out on what?
I can tease a little bit, yeah. Day one's going to be more of up-leveling what you have today. I think you're going to see some of the futures, right? A lot of the things around edge, you'll hear something called event-driven automation. So this is very akin to maybe self-driving or self-healing, or being able to automatically say an event is triggered, and then you can actually cause some automation to be spun up to actually remediate those things. So going beyond observability, right? Observability is great, but just observing problems is I can look at a million things wrong in my network, but if they're not being remediated, it doesn't really mean much. So, talking about event-driven there is going to be really hot. And then a lot of the other use cases and frameworks, going beyond the configuration, I think.
Yeah, I think that event thing's cool. And final question for you, because one of the things that last year we came away with was automation. What's that next automation at scale? Because remember, remember where we came from, writing scripts, automating things from just basic scripting and configuration automation to full scale automation. That's become a big part, and we see a lot of that in the cloud native conversations with containers and whatnot. How do you scale in the cloud with the cloud hyperscaler? So again, the relationship with the hyperscalers and scale, what can we expect to hear there?
Oh, everything from, so we'll be teasing out a little bit. You know that we have Ansible Automation Platform on Azure as a marketplace offering. We may be extending that to maybe some other hyperscalers. So making it super easy for customers or prospects to get automating quickly in their hyperscaler of choice, using their own means and methods and processes. And then going beyond that and ensuring security. So I mentioned security again. How do you ensure that what you're actually automating is part of like a security supply chain, as part of your content or part of your playbooks, and keeping things actually running well at scale, like you said.
Okay, you got Azure. I'll put my guessing hat on. There's only a few others to pull from. That's awesome. Congratulations, and looking forward to the event. Final word here. What do you see outcome at the end of the event? What's in your mind's eye? What's the outcome look like?
Yeah, I just got to do a shameless plug. I'm actually running the labs and workshops. So if you're in person, or if you're not, come check out the labs and workshops. We have 4 rooms. You can just camp out and just do hands-on learning with workshop, instructor-led learnings or self-paced training. You can see me and all that. But I think the future learnings here is really trying to future-proof everyone's use cases. So actually, you talk about AI, you talk about cloud native, talking about other Red Hat products being part of that conversation with RHEL and OpenShift. It's really a great time to be automating right now.
And it's interesting, and the Ansible community that's well known, they all know each other, and I won't say niche, it's not niche anymore. It used to be one of those areas where super important for making things run. Now when you take cloud and cloud scale, horizontal scalability across multiple environments is kind of an Ansible thing, right? It's like you need to think about how to scale the Ansible concept. And I think that's the big exciting thing that I see with cloud native, Andrius, is this idea that what Ansible stood for back then now applies to almost all environments. So the automation, the scaling of configurations and tearing stuff down and standing things up with machines and software is just, I think, an incredible opportunity. And I think IT operations is now in the developers' hands, and data and security ops are front and center in all these conversations. And it's going to be super exciting. Can't wait to hear. Okay, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thanks for giving your opinion.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right.
And thank you very much for hosting us.
See you at the
and
event.
we'll see you there in Chicago.
Okay, Andrius Benokraitis, Senior Manager, Ansible Technical Marketing, for breaking it down, giving us a preview on what's coming. Expect to hear more about automation and how it's relevant at scale, and all new things are happening with cloud native inflection point we're living right now. So we'll see you there. Thanks for watching.